Hey, welcome back to DuckmanCycles and VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today with my 1956 Beetle, also known as Eleanor, right here. Now, you probably remember that we were working on, or at least I had discussed that I was going to be working on, these new hinges. That's right, these are for the doors, because I never liked the external hinges that were on Beetles. They have such a nice, clean, streamlined appearance with nothing that sticks up on the hood or the deck lid, but these damn door hinges stick out and they're just ugly as sin. And I got a set of these. And I've had my doubters. There's been a lot of people that told me that these weren't going to fit or that these weren't going to work. But I've already started to fit them on the passenger side, and I am pretty happy with what's been going on. Now, as you saw from the cold open on this video, that roughly 5 minutes or so, that video that you guys watched was actually about 90 minutes for me, because these hinge pockets, they required a lot of cutting in through two sheets of metal. Turns out that the outer of the door jamb is a thin piece of sheet metal, I guess just pretty much for looking at. It's kind of soft, but behind it is a much thicker, much stronger contour that actually has a shape to it. It's not just flat. Piece of sheet metal that's back there that's welded and sandwiched in between everything else, and that's the reason why the stock hinges don't pull out of that, you know, thin sheet metal. These pockets, I believe, should weld into that just fine, and I have seen on other forums people that did something similar to this with different style hinges that welded in the same place and didn't have any problems either. So I think that's what we're going to do, and if it doesn't work, I'll reinforce it. Well, let me show you what we got, but before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, pluck that dingle belly, that way you get updates every time I upload a video. And don't forget to check out duckchit.net. That is my website where you can find all of my different social media links. Hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is just blowing up right now, so if you haven't been there yet, you need to join it. I've been putting a lot of photos for behind the scenes type stuff that I don't talk about in videos, just little quickies of images for things, you know, whatever it might be, or maybe just little plans for ideas and things that are coming up in the future. So please, you know, check it out. Of course, I've got a Twitter, Facebook, you know, the Facebook group page. Join that too. Actually, my Instagram at this point is bigger than the Facebook group page, and the Facebook group page is older, so go figure, go figure. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a second. All right, down in here we've got our A-pillar right through here, and this is the hinge assembly that I've started to install. And you can see the pockets that I cut, and I cut them real snug, really snug. The cuts are a little jaggy and a little sloppy, yet I can fine-tune them, but the idea was I wanted this to fit really snug in there with very little play, so that way when it comes time to weld it, there's not going to be any movement in it at all. So as you can see, there's two square-shaped holes, and that these hinges push into the place. There they go, just like that. Now, of course, this is not done yet. I still have a little bit of cutting yet that I need to do, and I'm also having trouble dropping it down inside the A-pillar up here. Oh, by the way, this is disassembled if you didn't know already. I pulled the, I'm gonna call these paddles. I pulled the paddle hinge off of it just because it's gonna be in the way for me working here. But I suspect that this is gonna work just fine. Now let me show you the little problem that we're running into here. And I already know how I'm gonna deal with it. I just, I think it's sloppy. But it's custom work, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, these hinges are supposed to install, let's see if I got this right. It's supposed to go like this, down inside the A-pillar this way. Now, if you ever had a Beetle before, this is the black hole of doom. If you've ever dropped something down there and it's kind of small and it's not magnetic, you can kiss it goodbye, because this is that little spot that's really, really hard to get into. And if your hood is on, you can't even see down there. And the only reason I can see down there at all, as I said, is because the hood is off and because I'm tall enough to actually get over there, but I can only see just through a little sliver. And the only reason I can see in there at all is because I cut these holes open, which is allowing light to get in. But the problem I'm having here is that this is supposed to drop down on the inside, and it gets that far, and it hits the corner over here of the front quarter panel. So there's two options that I've got. The first one is I can cut this bar out. But if I cut the bar out, two things are going to happen. These hinges are going to move, and they're never going to be square again. They're going to lose strength. These two right now, if one pulls, the other one pulls, they pull together, which just makes this whole unit much stronger. So if I were to cut this, which I don't think is an option, I'll end up with problems. Now what I could do is I could just slice with the Sawzall a few inches into here and a few inches into here, and just fold this piece gently out of the way. Drop this down in there, and then once I got that welded into place, because it's never going to come out again, then go ahead and just weld the quarter panel patch back together. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. It seems a little sloppy, but I don't think I have too many other options here without butchering something in the process. But I think that should work out just fine. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. Then I should be able to start welding this into place, and then I'll get the hinge paddles mounted and see what everything looks like. Now the bottom one, these things have pins on them, by the way. I thought this was just a bolt, but it's actually a really nice designed and machined pin with a bushing in it that goes through just like so in here, and then it flips out this way and then opens outwards. But once this is down inside of there, in the black hole of doom, there's no way for me to put the pin in and tighten the nut on the bottom of it. So I think I'm going to have to probably put an access panel somewhere down in the kick plate area, down where the your feet area is. There's already a hole down there usually. That way you can put your heater tubes down over the heater channels, the outlets down there. With this in the way, that kind of makes the heater channel obsolete. But as I had said before, on Eleanor, due to the way I've set up a lot of the rear suspension parts, I can't use heater boxes anyway, so the heater channels are effectively rendered useless. Well, anyway, I'm going to keep on working on this here, and I'll take you guys along for the ride. But so far, so good. I mean, it's looking pretty good to me. And until I start to have an issue, like when I go to mount the doors, that's when it's going to be the big problem, is it's actually going to work. And a lot of people told me that it's not going to work and isn't going to work at all, and they wouldn't even say why. They just say it's not going to work. And then there was the whole bunch of me too, me too, me too. Everybody was agreeing with them. Well, you know what? The more people that tell me it's not going to work, are the more people I'm going to prove wrong. So you guys are the ones that are fueling my fire. Lots more to come. Oh my God, that pains me. Oh, that pained me to do. I did not want to have to do that, but I think that's going to be my best alternative here. All right, let's see if we can get this thing dropped down inside of there and if that's going to work. All right, that's going to get it. There's a little bit of a clearance issue down below in here. I can fix that, and this is actually almost below the point where it needs to be, and we can go from there. All right, I'm satisfied with that. Let's keep moving. All right, let's see if we can get this sucker in here. I've already got it wrestled into the A-pillar. I just got to push it through them holes. Yeah, there it is. I thought it was going to be a little harder than that. Doesn't look like it's in all the way yet though, but oh, sharp edges in there. You got to be careful. Okay. Yeah, I think that about gets it. Let's see what it looks like with the hinges on. This one I think goes in the bottom. Oh wow, I could even reach down to where the pins are at. Shit. It's a little awkward, but I can get in there. There it is. We got one hinge. And we got a pin for this one. This one goes in this way. Alright, that pin can't come in from the top. Nope, not enough clearance. Put it in from the bottom then. Well, there it is. Not quite in all the way. I'll work on that, but it still needs a little cutting and trimming, but damn it, I got it. Let me pull you around this side. Alright, well check that out. Apparently it can't be done. That's what some of the YouTubers say. Hey, Dougman, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't do that. Yeah, I also can't chop the top on a Beetle, apparently. Well, definitely it's going to need some trimming. All this stuff that's sticking out here is going to get trimmed off. They need to be welded in place. They're still not quite in all the way. I'm going to have to push them in a little bit further. But looking at what we've got here, right where my fingertip is, that's in the jamb. When I push it to here, you see how the door lifts and comes away from the body on the recessed hinge, so that actually works out quite nicely. Yeah, the bottom one still needs to be pushed into place a little bit better. I don't even need an access panel. I just thought of that now. I managed to get the pins in from the inside to both the hinges, and I don't need to cut any access holes. Fan-tastic. Excellent. Wow. All right. Well, I guess tomorrow's video is going to be consisting of me welding this thing back together. I did get a little slice on me earlier. When I was reaching down inside and pushing the hinges down in there, I got caught on that slot that I had to cut in the front quarter. But yeah, there it is. I've got hinges. I still can't believe that. This was, again, a dream that I've had since I was a kid. I always wanted to get rid of them ugly hinges that are on the outside. So now that these are functioning, as I said, I just got to clean that up, fix this. I'm going to leave the little door switch button. That way I have a factory part that still goes on there. These former hinge holes for the stock hinges, I'll cut a piece of sheet metal and just cover them. I don't need to do anything to the clips and stuff that's behind it. In fact, one of the clips that was behind it I removed, the one from the top, because it was actually in the way for me getting the hinge down into place. Or the pockets, I should say, putting the pockets in place. So I had to just remove that. It's not a big deal, it's held in by a clip. But once that's out of the way, yeah, everything just fell into place. Well, rock and roll. That turned out really, really nicely. Now I have kind of a measurement to start with, so when I go over to the driver's side, I can just duplicate what I've done. It turned out better than I expected, and like I said, I still haven't welded it in, but I think I got it. Now I just need to make it fit on the doors. If you see this line that's here, this is where the inside of the door comes to when the door is closed. Now that hinge does go past that door, but that's all right, I have a plan for this, and wait until you see that. It's gonna be a pretty trick. Gonna be pretty damn tricked out. I'm really excited for this here. I think we're gonna wrap it up for today, as I've got a Volkswagen Club meeting tonight to go to. So please, licky likey, please subscribe, comment, pluck that dingleberry. For those of you that said that I couldn't do it, let's see what your reaction is now. What do you think of that? These hinges aren't gonna work, huh? Of course, they're still not attached to the door yet, but as I said, I've already got something in mind, so yeah, you know what it is? The reason why it works is because I'm the motherfucking Duckman. I am so happy with this. This is something that, I don't know, it's one of those things you dreamed about, but you had a vision of it, but never knew what it was really going to look like until you started to do the work, and now that I see it's good. Another thing I noticed here real quickly too is that I left the lip here, so that way when the door closes, the seal will still press on here. Some of the people I've seen that did this before, they brought the hinge too close to the edge and the seal had nothing to hit. So what happens is water would get into the hinge and then go down inside the A-pillar, and you know what happens here at the bottom. Yeah, I know, they're designed for the body to weep out water, but the problem is if it's getting water in the body at all, if it's slow to leave for any reason at all and the metal is compromised, it's going to rust. So I'm not going to allow the water in the body. In fact, I'm actually going to go so far as to put a little a gutter on the inside underneath the weep holes for the front windshield, and what I will do from there is I'll run a little hose down and let it drain out onto the ground. So that way it doesn't have to go into my metal body at all. Oh, future plans. Easy stuff to make, really, really easy stuff to make. But that is Eleanor, and that is Eleanor's hinges. Fantastic. I am so happy with that. Yeah. Oh, man. Absolutely fantastic. All right, well, I got to clean up my tools. I got a meeting to go to. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Well, I'm rather happy with the way everything went down today. It warmed up quite a bit today. Humidity was up a little higher than it had been, but I tell you what, this cool rag that you see on my head, you get these things wet and you stick it on your body. It's actually kept me quite cool. I was rather surprised. I thought it was a gimmick. I bought one a few years ago, lost it. Oddly, it's like thin as a sheet of paper when you lay it flat. And when they're new and they're like cardboard, I almost threw it away until I realized suddenly what it was. So anyway, this worked out really good for me today. There'll be a link down in the video description if you're interested in one of those. And some of the other tools that you saw me use too down below in the video description. Really don't like Eleanor sitting in the garage here without all of her body panels on. Man. Any other woman you have over, you'd certainly like to get their top off, but my Eleanor here, I'd rather see her assembled. Thanks for watching.